a.m. I'm Jim Busby, presiding over a petition for a restraining order brought by Ayla and Vito Roletta. Vito Roletta versus Darlene Michael and Brianna Montepara, case 2012-2230. Mr. and Ms. Roletta are self-represented. That's correct, you don't have an attorney. And the Monteparas are represented by Mr. Candy Kern Fuller. First matter to come at hand this morning is the photographer and videographer that we have present. Ms. Candy Kern, I understand that you had a motion concerning these, or complaint?
Yes, Your Honor. Under the South Carolina rules, is the appellate rule 605, broadcasting, television, recording, and photographic court proceedings. Media is defined as any recognized news gathering or news reporting agency, and the individuals involved therein, including newspapers, radio, and television networks, news sources, magazines, trade papers, in-house publications, professional journals, or other news reporting or news gathering agencies. Your Honor, I believe that the videographer is with a group called WAIM, which is a local AM radio station. I believe that the photographer is a privately retained photographer for an attorney in town who actively had a lawsuit against Mr. Montepara individually and actively represents other parties against Mrs. Montepara in a lawsuit that she brought for being slandered. I do not believe that the photographer meets the standard under Rule 605 at all. And I believe that the person who is the videographer has produced a business card stating he is something administrative with WAIM. I don't know that he's produced any credentials that he's a reporter or does any news gathering, though I believe he told the officer that he does it all. So, he very well may be with the media. I don't believe that the photographer qualifies, and I believe Rule 605 clearly says that the general rule is, other than the exceptions set forth in the rule for broadcasting, televising, recording, or taking photographs, that there should be none in the courtroom or areas immediately adjacent thereto. And so we would move that the photographer not be permitted, and we would leave it to the court's discretion as to whether the videographer meets the standard of 605A.
The photographer, is Mr. Fuller?
Mr. Sullivan.
Sullivan?
Sullivan? Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Sullivan, in what capacity are you here today?
I was just hired by an attorney to come in here and photograph the trial.
And you are not a member of the media in any
No, sir.
form or shape?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Fuller, I am going to grant your motion concerning the photographer. Mr. Fuller, you may stay if you like, but you cannot take photos. You cannot stay as a photographer, but you can stay as a guest of the court if you would like.
Yes.
All right. You can be excused if you like, if you didn't like, if you don't want to stay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
See you.
And Mr. Watson, I'm sorry, Watkins?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Watkins, in what capacity are you here today?
Videographer for WAIM AM radio. My business card says account executive, but I do pretty much everything else that Rick doesn't. I work at the courthouse. I cover all the county court, not the county court, the county council sessions. I do that every other week.
Do you do it for media purposes?
Yes, sir.
All right.
To broadcast on our website.
All right, so I am somewhat familiar with some of your proceedings, and Ms. Fuller, I am going to allow him to study.
Thank you.
So you may
Thank you,
stay
sir.
and operate your
Thank you, sir.
studio camera. All right.
Your Honor, I have
All right.
another
Yes, sir.
motion.
Let you know when you come in. Have a seat. There's a hearing going on now. Have a seat, please.
Just 1 second to complete this form, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, yes, ma'am, Ms. Fuller.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I filed an answering counterclaim this morning. I have served that on the defendants. Your Honor, in our answering counterclaim, if I may approach, we have alleged a jurisdictional amount in excess of $7,500. At this time, pursuant to South Carolina Code annotated 22-3-30, We respectfully request that this court, pursuant to the mandatory requirement of 22-3-30, transfer this matter to the docket of the Court of Common Pleas for the 10th Judicial Circuit.
Ms. Fuller, when were the other parties served with your counterclaim?
They were served this morning, Your Honor. We're still within our 30 days.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that the initial summons wasn't even issued until the 26th of July. And I don't have information about when it was actually served. I recall that it was served right before the end of the month because I was out of town for a CLE.
All right. Do either of you want to speak to?
Yeah, I have a question, Your Honor. Why, if they not guilty, why they hire the lawyer? And we look for lawyer, and nobody take the case if it's civil, and they got the lawyer. And I think is if they guilty, that's why they get the lawyer to get defended by lawyer.
Or certainly the obtaining of a lawyer doesn't say whether a party is innocent or guilty. That's just their right to obtain. Just so you have the right to obtain an attorney if you so wish. As to the motion or to the answer in counterclaim, first of all, on a restraining order, Ms. Smith, there's no monetary value determined. We're here on a restraining order to determine whether or not a party needs protection by ways of restraining order to prevent harassment or whatever. There's not a monetary value involved. And on the, as far as a complaint against the plaintiffs in this case, had you served in time for them to prepare, then you would, have an opportunity to go forward with a claim against them in seeking a restraining order. But since that had not been done today and given them their 5-day opportunity to prepare and the time required after service for a restraining order, that's not proper. And I noticed on your answer and counterclaim you're demanding a jury trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jury trials are not even allowed on restraining orders.
I understand, Your Honor. If you look at the prayer for relief, is that a jury trial be had on all claims, defenses, and counterclaims, but for the equitable claims, Your Honor. The compulsory counterclaim rule under Rule 13 of the South Carolina Rules of Civil Procedure is that if it is a common nuclei of operative fact, my clients have not alleged that they are stalking them. What my clients have alleged is that the problems that are going on between these parties are civil problems. They're not criminal problems, they're not harassment, stalking, but the same allegations form the common nuclei of operative fact, which requires that we have to file a counterclaim. It is a mandatory counterclaim. If we do not file it, we may lose it. And at the point in time we do file it, if our damages exceed $7,500 under Section 22-3-30, this court must transfer the entire initial claim as well as the counterclaim up to the circuit court. It's a mandatory directive, Your Honor. Again, Ms.
concerned, the purpose today is for a restraining order in which the plaintiffs are seeking protection from your clients from harassment. If you wish to seek a similar claim against them, you certainly have a right to apply for, make an application for a restraining order. I'm denying your motion or your claim that you have a counterclaim against the plaintiffs in this court at this time, and we will go forward with the restraining order.
Thank you. I have one more motion, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a defendant's motion in limine based on my understanding of evidence that may be raised and witnesses that may be called, that pursuant to rules 401, 402, 403, 404B, and 609B, that if the plaintiffs intend to introduce witnesses regarding characters of my clients or some evidence of alleged other wrongs that they say my clients did, that is strictly prohibited by Rule 404B. And that further, if they intend to try to raise any criminal conviction record that exceeds 10 years of age, that is prohibited under Rule 609B. And that further, any of those witnesses, unless they have direct evidence of the incidents alleged in the relator's actual complaint in this matter, are not relevant under Rules 401 and 402. And I ask that this court grant a motion in limine that witnesses of that nature, alleged evidence of character or other incidents that may have occurred not between these parties, are irrelevant and should not be entertained by this court.
Mr. Montero, I'm sorry.
Roletta?
Roletta?
Roletta, yeah.
All right. Do you wish to speak to Fuller's?
Yeah, we have pictures and we have evidence.
We would like to admit to
All right.
evidence.
Do you have other witnesses other than yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
And are these witnesses of the character of which Ms. Fuller was speaking about?
Yeah, we have our kids, and that's why she is but they've been harassed too. It's like more like.
Have any of your witnesses, have information that pertain to records more than 10 years old? More than 10 years ago? Anything that's happened more than 10 years ago?
No.
Okay.
They have present. Like
Okay.
right now, they went. My niece came to my house, and she took out. She took my
Okay,
kid.
that's all we're going to do. Ms. Fuller, I will grant your motion,
Thank you, Your Honor.
and will depend on you to object to any time that this motion should come into effect during the trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else?
Nothing further at this time for the defendants, Your Honor.
All right, I understand that we do have some people from the community that want to sit in at this time. We will allow them to come in, and then we will begin our trial. Mr. Purdy, do you know about approximately the number? Will it be more than just what the seating is there?
Unless some more folks should come in.
All right.
You want to bring the witnesses in first?
No, sir. All the witnesses will be called as needed.
Okay.
You get to use your witnesses, but you can call them one at a time, okay?
Okay.
As you wish to call them,
All
okay?
right.
And will the witnesses be sequestered, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am, they will.
Okay.
All right. Are you, Mr. and Ms. Rolette, are y'all, what relationship are you?
Husband and wife.
Your husband and wife are? And you understand concerning the motion that Ms. Fuller just made, that you're not to involve people that would recite records of more than 10 years old, and that the main thing is to stick to present day, most recently happened instances. You can go back to some period of time, but not to involve anyone that would have records of more than 10 years ago, okay?
Have a seat. Y'all please move on down. I have to be seated right here, please.
All right, Mr. and Ms. Roletta, which of you would like to speak first? Hold on, which one?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Or if you come to the witness stand, bring any information that you need with you, bring it to the witness stand. Lay information there, place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, please, sir. You swear or affirm your testimony to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Ours can be seated right there, please, sir. Would you state your name, please, sir?
My name is Fedor Roloder.
You pronounce that Rollader.
Roloder.
Mr. Rollader, what is your relationship to the Monteparas?
We are neighbors.
Can you explain to the court, please, sir, why you feel that a restraining order is necessary? And if you're going to give me some events, I want you to tell me the most recent event that has happened, and then we'll back up from there, okay?
Recent, the accident happened is they.
Can you give me the date and what happened?
Oh, not much.
Do you need information that she has there? You can.
Most of the time I stayed home, so maybe I should be going first.
Can she go first?
Any objection, Ms.
Without
Rollader?
objection.
All right, you may step down.
I would ask that the court swear the witnesses, please.
I'm sorry.
I would ask that the court would swear the witnesses.
Okay. Would you place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right? Do you swear or affirm your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, please be seated. State your name, please, ma'am.
My name is Ala Roder.
Ms. Rhoda, the same relationship, you are neighbors to the Montepara?
My neighbors, they live very close to us. Their property is very close to
All
our
right, need you
property.
to explain exactly what has taken place that you may need a restraining order against them, and I want you to begin with the most recent incident and back up from there, okay?
Recent is our dog disappeared. On the,
Can you give me dates of
Yes.
times when this happened?
if you would like, I can present you the thumb drive. It will explain everything. Can you play it for me?
No, ma'am, I'd rather come that you tell me
Okay.
exactly what happened.
Let's do this. On our dog disappeared. We woke up, our dog disappeared. Previous days on 8/7, dog disappeared.
Your Honor, I'm going to check, but the complaint only has 2 dates listed, and 8/7 is not one of the dates we were given notice of. Your Honor.
Okay.
We have a date of 3/12 at 12 o'clock and 7/21 is 2012 at 10 o'clock. That's the only thing we've been given notice of.
Okay. Because there was so many that the court only asked us to provide 2. That's what we did.
Hold on just one second. I remember reading about the dogs in some of your information. I'm not sure if it was in the complaint. Do you recall writing about the dogs in your?
Yes, my dogs, my neighbors have been feeding my dogs and they end up dead. And I have proof in this thumb drive, the pictures of the food that was thrown by my neighbors from their side, and the food was thrown that it got over under my fence close to my puppy, where my puppy was
Hold
located.
on just a minute, please, ma'am.
Your Honor, in the complaint, I do recall she said that there was something about feeding the dog, but nothing about the dog disappearing.
All right, I'm gonna overrule your objection, let her go ahead with the dog. Tell us, if that's the most recent thing, tell us back exactly what happened to the dog.
Well, it disappeared. We could not find it. And when I tried to search that day, I called animal control. There was nothing in the system that would say they picked up my dog. Nothing in the system. I've been searching for a dog all over the place. We could not even find. There's no way. We had never accidents that my dog would just disappear, run away. And how the leash was placed, it's somebody abandoned my dog, stole it, and put the leash. It was standing up. If the dog would run away, it would fall down. But when we finally, the next day, I called the animal shelter, and my dog was in animal shelter. And when I read the report, it was inactive. That means when they found him, it was inactive. He was not moving, he was not doing what he's supposed to do like other people, he was inactive.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
But you stated when you saw the dog, he was inactive.
It was more active, but when I spoke with the animal control.
Okay, don't say what the animal control person said.
Okay.
Tell me what you saw yourself of the dog, okay?
I saw my dog acting weird. First of all, he was scared. He was crying in the shelter. And even we picked it up. I thought, I have to double check if this is my dog. So I brought it home. It would sleep, like every time I would come and feed him, and every time I could smell, neighbors smell that they're outside because they smoke really hard. So my doggy would cry and cry and cry. We didn't know what's going on, but every time I would come out, dogs would cry, and I would smell it. They would walk in their yard, and my doggy was just scared and making like crying noises.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, let's move. Did the dog die or did the dog live?
It lived.
It lived, okay. But you could smell smoke on the dog,
Yes.
on the dog itself? You could
Yes,
smell
it was like it been around smoking, like people who smoked, and we don't smoke. And I filed. Can you give me another file, the big one? That. Just bring me everything. I filed a restraining order. We had to because we could not live. It was not a house.
Just give me another incident.
Okay, another
After the
incident.
dog incident, what happened prior to that?
Okay. On 3/21, about late evening, about 10 o'clock, we had cooked out, so we had our relatives to our house. And when our relatives, ate, so we went outside to tell them goodbye. And when we noticed that neighbor's daughter was playing outside, so we are about to go inside, and she started saying, "Oh, neighbors, neighbors." So I was like, I asked my husband, are they talking, is she talking to us? And she started saying, "You need to stop looking at me, you predators, or my dad will shoot you all." And I'm like, why you're telling us? We're not looking at you. Our relatives just left.
Okay.
Can we be outside?
And who made that statement?
Their daughter, Brianna, Montepara. So I was like, you can't say that, my dad will shoot you all. You can't say that. This is not good. And then I heard Darlene started screaming, and Michael continues threatening me more. And I had my kids outside. I got scared. My husband and I, we just got so scared. And I said, they're gonna kill us all. If the daughter said, my dad will shoot you all, they're gonna kill us all. And we just closed, we got our kids, we closed the door, and I called 911. It just, it's our house. We're supposed to enjoy outside, and we can't. I have 5 kids, and we can go outside, we can enjoy trees, we can enjoy playing. When we moved, we started playing, and suddenly just Montepara stopped us doing what we're supposed to do. Video camera, feeding our doggies. Every time, even that, they would put the poison on our property, under my fence. They would throw poison.
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
Objection sustained.
Can I keep going?
Don't talk about poison
Okay.
unless you have reason to.
I have the reason.
They did that.
I have the reason. I have pictures. Food was thrown from their side under my fence, and I have some pictures. And I wrote, they stop, they harass, invade privacy, physiologic impact, feeding our.
That's what I'm asking
Yes.
you to tell me, incident by incident.
Okay.
How they've done this.
Yes,
And we're talking on March 21st, when your
Yes.
friends will come over and
yes,
the problem started there.
yes.
Have
Also,
you completed that incident? I'm asking you, not
Yes.
your husband.
yes. And on then the other incident on 3/12/2012. I was outside, and neighbors started saying racial remarks. She also told me, go back where you came from. Why did you even come here at first? Why? And I said, well, I want to live here. She said, go back where you came from. And she meant that, go back where you came from. I came from Russia. I am a citizen of United States of America. I have the right to live anywhere where I want. And nobody's supposed to threaten me and telling me that I have to go back where I came from. I am United States citizen.
So how did she threaten you during that incident?
Threatened me, she told me that go buy decent clothes. She also put her hands on her breast and squished them. And she told me that her breasts are bigger than mine. How could she tell? I'm trying to figure out. It seems like all the videos that have been placed in the trees, and there's more videos that I can see from my yard facing my house, my kids, my doggy. And it seems like they've been looking through this video so she can compare my breast with her breast. It was sickening how she put her feet, like her hands, and she just grabbed it so hard, her breast, and just squished them. And I could not understand. I was like, why this is. First of all, she told me go back where you came from. Now she's like, go buy decent clothes. Third of all, she grabs her breast. This is sexually sickening to me. It's so sick to even understand.
Is there another incident when something happened?
there's another incident. But like I said, when I filed complaint in motion for restraining order for harassment and stalking, when I asked, they only told me to just put down 2. And I did put down 2.
And I'm asking you.
Yes,
any other-
there's more. We moved in this house. We bought this house, the double wide, because we lost our house in Asheville. So we were looking the cheapest place that we can find so we can take our family back in our own place, because they used to cry, "Mama, how bank took away our house? How?" And so we tried to search the cheapest place that we can find, and finally we end up here. On June 2011, we bought that house. Michael Montepara, Darlene Montepara even came to us, and they welcomed us here. They brought us water. She brought us papers that would show. She also said that she is community watcher. She knows everybody in sheriff department. She brought me papers, and I even have a paper left that I kept from her information because I thought it will be a good use. It's recycling and all the Anderson County Regional Airport, like all this. So I just left it. The rest of it, I just throw it away. It was just too much for me. So, and yeah, like she brought us water. It was end up like fine. Then another time she started saying that, the previous neighbors that lived here, they're so blah, blah, blah. They were drinking too much. They placed, we have a wooded fence.
Objection sustained. Would you go forward, please, ma'am? Go to something that would cause you to fear Ms. Montepara and the need for a restraining order.
We started fearing. Became scared. On 12/27/2011, our puppy was tied up.
Is this a different dog than the one prior?
There was another puppy. We just got it. It was like a month-old baby, and it was tied up to a fence. And she, original dispatch remarks, puppy tied up to a fence, black in color, barks all the time. Caller said, it has been barking now for 4 hours. Caller would like someone to please talk to those people about the dog. Negligent conduct. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:59. We were home. The dog was not barking. We were present. I am stay mom home because I have 5 kids, and I stay home all the time. So the dog did not bark. By the morning, 9:59, they already had complaints. It's just not working. On 12:30, our Dodge trailer with a truck on it has been stolen. Before, nothing was happening until 12/27/2011, when Poppy tied up to a fence. And they called.
So what happened on 12:30?
12:30, I was home the whole day. I just left to Sam's Club to buy some food. We come back, trailer is stolen with a truck on it. Disappeared. It looks like somebody been watching us. When we leave, things happen.
So a trailer and truck was stolen out of your yard?
Yes,
Was a police report filed?
yes.
Has anything resulted from the police report?
They said that they could not find it. it just disappeared. They could not find it, and I have police reports. I called when we came home. I could not even believe how, with a short time, things could disappear. It's like cameras been watching us when we leave, when we come home.
Do you believe the Monteparas had anything to do with the disappearance of the truck and trailer?
I believe.
Sir, don't talk right now, you'll get a chance to speak.
I believe nothing happened before till 12/27/2011, when our doggy was tied up to a fence. It started.
Okay.
It was tied up to a fence on 12/27/2011. On 12/30/2011, father's trailer with a truck disappeared. On 1/18/2012, a man was driving back and forth in a car. I could not see a specific.
Objection relevant, so she can't see who it is. Can she identify it as the Monteparas or relating thereto?
Can you, Miss Roletta, can you? All
No.
right, objection sustained, can you go forward with it?
On 1/22/2012, dog tangle up, look like it may choke. Again, my dog was tangled up. Lieutenant Pavel, Powell, noticed my puppy tangled up. You cannot see my doggy off the road. My house is way up on the hill. You cannot even see when we walk in the yard. You cannot see. The road, McDuffie Street Extension, is way up here. My house is way over there. How Lieutenant Powell could see my dog tangled up. That day, I came home. That day was Sunday. We go to church about 11 o'clock in the morning. We just left to church. At 12, we left to church about 10:45. Dog was tangled at 12:26. We came at home about 1:45 and noticed our wooded fence was ripped apart. We're like, how could it fall apart within less than 2 hours? How-
Objection foundation, Your Honor. Does she have any evidence that it was the Monteparas that did this?
Do you?
They have videos.
They have, like I said, they record.
Do you have any evidence that the Monteparas ripped her fence?
I don't, but I believe there's nobody could do to us this harm.
Objection speculation, Your Honor.
How was your fence ripped? What was wrong with it? Was just the board knocked off or what?
No, where the doggy is located. The fence has, I don't know how many feet, 10 feet. 10 feet, what just ripped from nails, just ripped completely, and it was stored on the side. I am trying to figure out how.
Are you saying a 10-foot section of your fence was taken down?
2 pieces of 10 feet. That was 20 feet. Fence was just completely, let me explain
Were the
more.
boards taken off the fence or the fence?
No, just how it's connected. It was ripped off from the complete section and it was placed this one where I could see the 2x4s still on it.
Okay.
But the fence was off, standing like this.
So they've been present there.
So what happened with, did they do that to get to the dog? What was the deal?
I believe they started threatening us so we will move out. but we continue living there. We did not go anywhere because this is our house. We have family, and we're not gonna go anywhere.
So when you came home from church, you found this?
Yes,
Was Deputy Powell there at the time?
Huh?
Was the Officer Powell there?
No, we found a note on the door. I called him and I spoke personally and I said, what's going on? Why our fence is ripped apart? He said, oh.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
You can't say what Officer Powell said.
Okay.
Did
Officer,
Did you see anyone take the fence apart?
that time, like I said, we were in a church.
Okay.
It's,
So the
They
only-
have
when you
videos.
When you came home, the fence was taken apart and there was a note on the door from the officer.
yes, from the officer. I called the officer and I said, what's going on? We just left to church. We left we didn't even talk to anybody because what happened in December, that the trailer has been stolen with a truck. So we could not leave a house for a long time period. So when we're back, I called the officer and I said, what's going on? And he said, well,
Again, you can't say what he said, okay?
okay,
All right. Was your dog still tangled up when you got home from church?
no.
How did you know your dog was even tangled up?
It was a report made that I wasn't even home. And I did not get any tickets,
Who
nothing.
Who made the report?
Officer,
Officer Powell?
yes.
Okay, but he's not here today.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's go to another incident. What has happened other than that?
On 2/9/2012, that there was a man walking on my property, and he was wearing dark clothes, and he was when I look in the window, he went from the back of the house and he proceeded to the front of the house. He looked and he left so fast. And we have dogs. Our neighbor behind our house has dogs. And they started barking. And I see this man, he put his hand in the pocket and he threw food. They ate it and they come down. And I called 911 because a man was walking on my property.
Did you recognize the man?
I don't know him. And then on 3/12, about 12 noon, 2012, 12 noon, like I already mentioned, that neighbors started calling me names. I already talk about it, and I also put it in a restraining order. I already spoke about this. And then also on 6/11/2012, we woke up in the morning and we heard our doggy barking. So we look in the window and we see a sheriff, animal shelter sheriff, talking to our neighbors, Monteparas. We're like, okay. That time it was raining a lot. So when we woke up, even when we didn't even see who was up there, we spoke with my husband. I'm like, it was raining. The hay washed away. Let's go, get some hay. And then when after that, dogs started barking, we look and there's a sheriff talking to Monteparas. So, okay, my husband was on the road. He was still talking. He stopped. And my husband even said, neighbors feeding our doggy and they end up dead and you guys don't do anything. And then when my husband left, couple minutes, sheriff goes in my driveway. And he was very abusive. He started threatening me like,
Objection.
I will give you tickets.
Relevance, Your Honor. What does this have to do with Montepara's?
where the car.
Ma'am, sir, you hold on. You get your chance to talk, okay? Not right now. Why was the sheriff in your yard?
When they called,
When
and
you
I'm
called?
neighbors at 8:32 in the morning, and they reported that neighbors at this address have a German Shepherd that does not have shelter. State that she has a video of the dog crying for 2 hours. Caller address 2907 South McDuffie Street. Whose address is that? Montepara's. She also stated that she has a video of the dog crying for 2 hours. Video. Also, they made a call at 8:32 a.m. The officer had a chance to speak with him. He came. Call arrival time 11:26 a.m. He came to me and I said, "What's going on?" "Well, I have anonymous." So can I say what he said? No.
No, ma'am.
But he told me that,
Same objection, Your Honor, she can't rephrase what they
All
told.
right. This,
Okay.
again, was this the same animal officer? Do you know if it was the same?
that was, what do you
Was this
mean?
the same animal officer that was there before?
Talking to them?
Yes.
Yes. I could see his face. And also you can ask my husband because he was personally there.
And we asked him.
Sir, I've asked you not to speak now. You cannot speak to your own stand, okay?
Сейчас он разозлится и уедет. Нас оставит.
All right, do you have anything else? Another incident that's occurred?
He came. He could not find anything.
Who came?
Officer. He started, he's like, "Give me your driver license." Well, I gave. He looked it up. There was nothing issued, no tickets, nothing. He could not find anything that was harm to my dog. Nothing. Let me keep going. So 611. It was a camera facing my doggy. You could see they placed a camera, white camera, on their fence, and it was facing my dog. You could see a dog, my house. Also, I placed restraining order like I said, I placed my restraining order on 7/24/2012. On 7/26/2012 at 10:39, about 10 o'clock in the morning, my Rex German Shepherd started barking very, very hard, like he was upset, angry, and scared.
Objection calls for speculation.
Objection sustained. You know your dog was barking. Just go ahead. Why was he barking?
Okay? My kids ran to the window, and he's like, "Mama, neighbors have green sticks that they're they're trying to hit our dog.
Objection, that calls for hearsay.
Did you see it?
I seen when they called me, I look in the window and I see Michael Montepara holding two green metal posts. Doreen had a camera in her hands. My doggy was standing on the doggy house like the full height that he can be, and he was barking very, very aggressively. When I opened the door and I wanted to calm down the doggy. I said, Rex, it's okay, I'm here. I see Michael, he ran with those posts and he placed them in the back, in the front of his, close to the front gate. Doreen, when she saw me,
Ma'am, you'll have a seat now.
she jumped back behind my wooded fence. They knew that I placed restraining order, but they continue torturing our family. Continue scaring my dog. That time I shut the door, I called 911. And there was still cameras facing my dog and my family. Even after I placed restraining order, and they knew why I placed restraining, because they're videotaping my family without my permission, without anybody's permission. They're just videotaping our family. They're taking pictures. And 7/26/2012, they were provoking my dog. They're trying to hit him. I called 911. And then at August 7th, my doggy disappeared. That time, the camera was still there until my doggy disappeared. Finally, the camera went back to their property. I am trying to solve this problem. Why they would tilt the camera back to their property after my dog disappeared. And they thought my doggy will disappear forever. But no, he's back. I believe that's my doggy, he's back. It took him 3 days to recover. He was crying like a baby. He could not eat anything. Every time he would smell their smell, he would just hide in his doggy house because he was just scared.
You picked the dog up at the animal shelter?
Yes. Even when my doggy disappeared on 8/7, I called everybody. I called animal shelter. No, there's nothing in the system that says that German Shepherd has been picked up this day. Finally, on 8/8/2012, my doggy was in animal shelter. And I know who found my doggy. I'm still trying to put this in the head, how the officer, when he tried to find my doggy, he was just driving by and he saw my dog and he said, yes, I know whose that doggy is. It's those people who live on the hill. That's what the word passed to me.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained. Again, you're saying what someone said,
Okay.
someone else said, okay?
Well, this is what I have to say.
Or do you have anything else?
Yes, I have some proof. Even Doreen Montepara has been putting this on the web, that they're trying to figure out who was driving by her
Objection, Your
property.
Honor, that goes to the motion in limine and it's irrelevant.
Yes, ma'am. Can't show that now.
Well, this is you go on the internet and you can find anything.
Do you have any more personal
Yes,
information that you have seen or that was made directly toward you? Any
yes.
comments or threats
Yes.
made directly?
I have this thumb drive to admit to evidence. And I ask you to play this in court right now.
Sir, do you have any way of?
In your computer. It's a way that you just
Not
put
in
it
my
in.
computer. I mean, I don't have any way of playing that now. You've told everything that's on the tape.
Yes, there's a proof.
Did you bring any means of playing that? Did you bring any means of playing that? Any way to provide?
I believe that court have a computer, not even one, that you can put it in and just play it.
Not in this system, no matter. Do you have anything else?
I have this.
You could tell me about, and I think you already have told us everything that's practically on that tape.
Ano daw niya fotoaparat? I have also my camera. Let me see what I have on that camera.
Do you have photographs or recordings on the camera?
But it was so many that I just downloaded to this.
And what proof of what are you looking for on the pictures that you haven't already told us?
I have a proof that they have camera facing my property.
Okay. Is that the only proof that yours?
Dog food.
I prepared all the evidence on this. And I'm asking you if you can play it.
I cannot. I can't put it in this system, no ma'am, I can't play that.
I have a picture here. This is my fence. This is my property. And you can see poison thrown for my doggy. You can look.
No ma'am, let us, give it to us so that she can see it.
Your Honor,
I'll look at that.
I don't have an objection to the picture. I do have an objection to the characterization that it's poison. The court's already ruled there's no foundation for that.
Even when officers came,
And tell me what the picture shows.
it shows food that was thrown under my fence and on my property. This is exactly how it was when my doggy disappeared and the leash was just like a wheel standing up. Doggy could knocked over if he would run away.
I'm gonna ask that they not communicate while one is on the
Yes, I've
stand.
asked you several times, if you speak out again, I'm gonna ask the officer to escort you out, okay? You understand? Are you speaking of the lease inside the doghouse? The lease, the dog's lease inside the doghouse? or what
Yeah.
you do?
Right here.
So you're saying that someone took the lease off the dog and placed it back in the house?
Yes.
Objection, speculation, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. All right.
Oh, I have more pictures.
Unless you can produce them in orderly fashion very quickly, I'm not gonna look at them, okay?
I prepared everything here, and you guys refusing to play. And I specifically requested.
Okay. I've heard your request and I've denied the motion or your request to play them. And I need to see what other evidence you have in an orderly fashion or we're through looking at pictures, okay?
It's right here. The camera is facing my dog and
Candace,
my property. There's a camera.
and how many of those cameras are facing your property?
There's more camera that is hiding in trees, I believe, that this is another one. You can see my dog's house, and that's, I am standing from my house, so this is my dog's house, that's a camera facing.
Okay.
Again, do you know how many cameras are facing your property?
1, 2, 3. And then she was recording my family on the cam recorder. And I asked her specifically, please stop doing that.
And when was
And
when was she doing that? When was she recording the family?
on the 3/23/2012. This is her. This is how she talks to neighbors, and I have proof of that.
Your Honor, is it how she talks to this neighbor?
Are you involved in the conversation?
She,
Are you involved in the conversation? Is she talking with you?
when I came out, her dogs was on my property. She came out and she was screaming, F, B, my dogs like your dogs in my yard.
She was screaming to you?
Yes, I was just videotaping her dogs coming to my dog in case if they make babies, she will blame me that my dog goes on her property. This is evidence because even my kids came out and my daughter said, Mommy, it's a Chihuahua. She thought it's her doggy.
Objection sustained. Do you have another?
Hmm?
You were going to show us a picture or a conversation between her talking,
Would you listen?
if it's between you and her?
Yes. Did you guys hear it, or should I replay it?
I heard
You heard it?
her dogs in your dogs in her yard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it was her dog in my yard.
Okay. Let's move forward.
I had to, because my kids ran faster than I did, so I wanted to put on the video in case her dog attacks my child. That was the purpose, to have proof. Or if her dog end up having kids with my dog, she would blame me like she always did. And like I said, it's just very rude. She
All right.
is Homeland Park president, community president. And I am so confused. How could a community president do this? Even talking to people like this is just She can say anything. Anything to us. She threatened us. She calling me names.
All right, I've heard enough of your testimony to go forward. This time I'll allow Ms. Fuller to ask any questions that she may have.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Relator, is it Relator?
Rollader.
Rollader. Okay, I apologize. Now, Ms. Rollader, you testified that you had a truck or a trailer with a truck on it stolen in December of 2011. Is that correct?
My dad's.
It was a Ford F-350 truck and a Featherlight trailer. Is that correct?
Yes.
And can you explain to the court why the body of that truck and the trailer, which is behind the wooden post, was on your property torn apart in March of 2012?
This is two different trucks.
That's another truck and another trailer. Is that your testimony?
This is not a trailer. This is two different trucks.
Okay.
This is two different trucks.
Okay.
It's still on my property.
Well, let's look at that. There's a trailer over here behind this wooden fence post, isn't
Mhm.
there? Is that correct?
That's the 2-car trailer. That's a different one. This trailer is a metal trailer.
And what is the frame of the truck from?
This is two different trucks that we bought it for to fix the first truck that is still there. There's a two different, I can prove documents that there's